really great educator. And I say that because it's the really great ones that get me so inspired to try something new and push out of my comfort zone and then go back to the salon and show our staff and do things with it. But education is really a big influencer for me and inspiration for even part of what we do at Hello.
What's up, everyone? Hello, hello. Today we're talking about... Am I Canadian? What was that accent for?
I didn't catch it.
Today we're going to talk about some business systems that you should consider. And then we're going to lighten things up and chat about influences and sources of inspiration. Welcome to our show. My name is Todd. I'm here with my wife and business partner, Jennifer.
Hello.
Hi. We're the co-owners of Hello Hair Co., which is our salon and barbershop, and co-owners of Hello Hair Pro, which is our education and mentoring business. You're listening to the Hello Hair Pro podcast. And this episode was brought to you by Ping Pong Design and Marketing.
Ping pong.
But we'll get there. All right. So today I want to touch on some systems and stuff like that businesses need to have in place. I think I have a list of like 6 or 7 of them here. And we can just chat about them, I guess.
Yeah, share away.
Let's do it. Let's dive in. Are you excited?
I am. I think systems are very important, and I don't feel that enough people put time and effort into putting systems in place, which would make their business run a lot more smoother.
True that.
Or smoothly.
The other thing is I don't think people always... I do see a lot of people talking about systems, which is great. But I don't see a lot of people giving examples of what the systems are or what they look like.
Agreed.
So that's where I want to start to break stuff down a little bit and hopefully help some people. And remember, as always, you're going to create the systems for your business that work for you, that make sense for you.
Yes. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the ones we touch on, some of them aren't like negotiable if you want a business. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's your business. So if you want to try to do something without one of these, then go for it. But I will tell you through experience, you're going to have far more, we'll say luck in quotes, by having these systems or at least starting to think about these things. And if you don't have these things in place, don't stress. Just work on them.
Yeah,
one step at a time. And they will come back exponentially. Mm-hmm. They compound over time.
Agreed. What I was going to say is...
Yeah, go.
I think it's easy, depending on where you do get your influences from. The word systems can become a buzzword. And you're like, yeah, I'm putting systems in place, but you're not really putting anything in place because you don't really know what a system is. So you can use the word and say you're going to do it or you're in the process, but you need to actually start doing it. And maybe you take one of these systems and that's the first one you start to put in place to get the ball rolling.
For sure. With that said, let's kick off with the first one that I have here.
Let's.
Pay yourself. You need a system in place to pay yourself. You need a system in place for profit. Mm-hmm. Now, you can look at those things separately. I'm sort of lumping them in together here. But I would argue, sort of what the data shows and what I see and what I hear from people that we talk to, is that people look at their business and they see what they're getting paid for their time behind the chair. That's not profit.
Right.
That would go to any employee.
Right. At that point, you're just still an employee in your own business.
Yeah, you're working for yourself. Mm-hmm. It's much like I talk about independent stylists. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Nope. So don't freak out, independents out there. I think you're great and I love you. Yeah, you're awesome too. This show is for you as well. But you essentially work for yourself. You're not able to just profit off of just doing the technical thing, which in this industry is doing the hair.
Right.
So how do we change that? I don't know what it looks like for your business, but like there are books. There's the Profit First book, which is great. You can check that out. I can throw it in the show notes, but you have to decide what it looks like and account for it. So the system that popped into my mind when we were making these notes and when I was making them for the third time, because I keep losing my notes, which is irritating, is that you have to work your profit into your pricing.
Right.
If you only charge what someone else charges based on whatever they're charging for, like it doesn't make sense because you're not accounting for your overhead and things. So there's no really room to
Yeah, they're not relatable
to
in that
profit.
sense.
Now, your overhead expenses may be much lower than theirs. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, all I did was grab these prices from the salon down the street and I'm wildly profitable.
You got lucky.
You got lucky. They're probably not as lucky.
Right.
So don't copy here.
I think the takeaway from that is
I just said, punch me in the head.
I just took over. The takeaway from that to me that I find is lacking on people opening a business is not understanding the numbers of to run the business, and that would account for you and your salon as to how you would price it. Like, you need to understand what it costs to have each chair running, or what you need to make from each chair that's running, or each technician that's working at a chair, in order to be profitable. And you may come back and do that equation, and that might not even be for you today. You might not be able to raise your prices so much that you can get there, but you can put a system in place to strategically get yourself there so that you become profitable over a certain amount of time.
I love it. Yeah. So some businesses, when they start up, they expect to lose for X amount of time. Maybe it's a year or 3 years, where they take out loans to cover their payroll or cover to expenses because they understand the long game.
I think most small businesses fail within 3 to 5 years. And if you get to the third year, your math, the statistic wise, you're in a good run. You got to keep going.
I think when you get to the third year, it drops, and then 50% of those. So instead of 80% failure rate, now you're at 50%.
So you're doing okay.
To make it the next 2 years. And then whatever it is, maybe only 30% of the remaining 50% of that initial number. I'm not doing math today, and I'm just talking off the... we're not mathing today. To make it to like the 10-year mark or whatever. But if you look at your business as a 10 or a 20 or a 30-year project, when all is said and done, you have to account for that. And so what does that look like? And like you said, Jen, if you know, again, I'm not mathing, no one call me out. But if you know that it costs $100 to break even on a chair per day, and the chair has someone working at it for 10 hours, and you charge $10 per hour, obviously you wouldn't charge those numbers, but you're only ever breaking even on that chair because you haven't decided to add the 20 or 30% profit that you want to make. You have to decide what you want to make out of the business first before you set your prices. Otherwise, it's much harder. Like Jen, like you just said, you might not be in the position to raise your prices.
Right.
Because you started with whatever they are. Your client base you might have built, and now you're like, okay, I'm not in a stable enough position to raise my prices, but I'm losing money until I hit this number.
And generally at that position,
call us. Most
people are just working more days because they're trying to catch up. And that's where you have to start to realize you've got to adjust those prices, because that's not a long-term goal game to play. You can't be behind a chair that much and doing that. You'll burn out, or you'll be exhausted, and which is the same thing. Or it's not fun for you anymore and you want to quit, and you never want to get to that position if you really love what you do. But if you know how to structure that the right way, then it would be a lot easier to make a plan of attack for a long game.
Yeah, and this stuff is all, like, I say this all the time, but it's so much easier to launch from the jump than it is to go backwards and try to
can be done.
Restructure. I mean, you can do it.
Yeah, because a lot of people listening probably like, I just took whatever prices maybe that you charged at your last salon, and you either upped them, or I've seen people make them lower, but because you just don't know. And that's okay.
Right.
Maybe there's an aha moment right now where you're like, whoa, I need to figure this out. Call your accountant. They can help you. You don't have one? Get an accountant. Call us. We can help you, at least move you in the right direction.
For sure. So pay yourself profit. System 1. System 2. It's some sort of marketing, dude. You have to have a way to get leads. Now, we're not diving into all the nuts and bolts of these systems, but if you're just marketing, like to us, social media is just one piece.
One tool.
If it's all you have, and that's what you've decided for your business, I'm just going to market on Instagram, that's how I'm going to get my leads. Great. Just double down on it and really focus.
But also be careful, because what happens in the situation...
And I've seen it. I think I know what you're going to say.
You get hacked, you lose your account, and that was all you had, and you just double downed on it. Now you're probably crying somewhere because you're like, what the hell do I do? And that's why for a strong foundation, you do want to market a little bit more across different platforms. So if one collapses, it doesn't collapse your business. It just collapses at the moment. You can pivot and figure it out, but you're not truly just left on the floor with nothing.
I agree. So the other thing is I think people get weirded out, or not weirded out maybe, but stressed out when they think of marketing and they're like, I don't have a marketing budget. Totally fine. You don't have to have one to start. You do need to account for it. And if you did things properly when you set up your business, you would have accounted for a marketing budget. But here's the deal. The smaller your marketing budget is, and I'm pretty sure I saw this somewhere, just the more you have to take on. The more of a marketing budget you have, the less that requires you to do, because you can contract that stuff out.
Right.
Which frees up your time for system number 5 that I'm going to talk about. So,
and you may start with the no marketing budget, which is more on your plate. We were there, then going out door to door, talking to people, tell them we do hair, we're here, this is what we do. And then as that grows and you can put some of that profit into your marketing budget, so while you sleep, you're literally marketing to lots of people, then you move in that direction. Again, that's part of your long-term plan, if that's what you want to do, and you should.
Yes, for sure. So you always want to have leads coming in the door, and you can do that different ways. So let's run through them. Social media, we already touched on. A website that's optimized, and SEO. Again, can you do it yourself? Yes, we did for a while. I did it at my gym for a while. I'm pretty sure you guys built your first salon's website maybe on your own, whatever. There are plenty of things, and reach out, because I can sort of give you a rundown of what I've done in the past and platforms I've used for websites. But a podcast is a great way to get your name out there, get your mission and vision, and just
what's your story?
Have some fun.
What are you
Exactly.
doing?
A blog, pay-per-click, which is Google ads. You could utilize old school stuff, and old school is funny. I'm not talking about sending postcards because I don't have that on my list here, but you could do mail. You could do that. But I had text messaging and newsletters, which is sort of an old school campaign, but you could text people. Newsletters, I think I just said. What about reviews? You can look into getting reviews. That stuff all helps build your online presence.
Some cost money, some don't. Some's just your time, which at some point that profit will pay you for, but it may not in the beginning, and that's okay. As a business owner or coming into it, you expect, or you should expect, that you may not be able to afford to pay everyone to do all the things for you, and that's why it's on your shoulders to start, and hopefully if there is a profit, you're getting paid to do that stuff.
And pro tip here, because I've dealt with a lot of the marketing type folks out there. I remember getting into, I got a referral. Someone said, hey, check out this person. She does marketing. She's great. I reached out to her and I said, hey, got your number from so-and-so. He said, you do marketing and you're great. And she sent me a survey. She didn't even reply, sent me a survey, like an intro survey. And it basically was like name, number. She's giving all my information. Fine. And then at the bottom, it was like, are you ready to spend over $1,000 a month on your business? And that was it. And I was like, well, for what?
Right.
So what I would do is get in touch with people, be very honest and upfront about your budget, and then ask them this: how can I maximize our relationship? How can I get the most? How can I supplement? How can I help you help me? Things like that. And if they're good, they should be able to tell you. And if they're not, or they're like, no, we just take it from here or whatever, and they're secret sauce and all this stuff, move on. Because I think it needs to be open. The days of hiding what you're doing behind the scenes is like, that's, to be over. That's gone.
Yeah.
You know, it's old school. All right. So that's system 2. You've got marketing. So now you have leads coming in. So what do you need? You need a sales system. You have to have a way, and sales just means completing a transaction. So your leads are people are aware you exist and are now interested in your services. Sales is making that happen. Where's the transaction? Before you know any of this, do you know your sales goals? Do you know how much money you need to make in order to, pay your employees, pay your overhead expenses, pay your taxes? Don't forget about that independence. They're coming. 87,000 IRS agents. And guess what? They're not just
You're
going
on the list.
They're not just going for the 1% at the top. It's much easier to find those however many millions. I saw the statistic this morning of people that started new businesses over the last 2 years. That's why they made that move.
Yeah.
But it's a quick money grab and it makes sense. But knowing your sales goals, why they are what they are, and accounting for profit and everything else, like I just said, right? What does that process then look like? What does it look like when someone calls your business?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody should, maybe you need a script. Maybe you need a trained front desk person. I don't know what you need for your business. You should know or be able to figure it out. But I'll tell you this, if I call a business and I say, I don't know, hey, can I get a perm? Do you guys do perms? And someone at the desk is like, I don't know. Okay. I just hang up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not calling anywhere asking for a perm, but you get it.
Yeah, it might be.
So you've got to have that process there that makes it easy, and don't think about
And so it's consistent.
you. Think about the client.
Mm-hmm.
You're solving their problems. They're calling you because they have an issue. Their hair is too long. They would like you to cut it. That requires a sale to happen.
Mm-hmm.
A transaction, if you will.
And keep it simple.
Yes, keep it simple. You don't have to explain everything to everyone all the time.
No, the explanation should really come when they're finally sitting in your chair, when
No, I mean your pricing explanation, because I hear people that are like,
yeah.
I see people that are like, with the economy and this, you don't have to
no.
explain economics to people. Just
No.
keep it very simple. We already get it. Like the average consumer gets that things cost more. They drive cars.
Mm-hmm.
They know gas
And
has
most
gone
often
up.
they just want to know. Sometimes it's easy to think they're questioning what you're saying or what you're posting either way. But a lot of times it's just their own, like, what does that cost? Because everybody has a budget. It doesn't matter how much money you have. There's budgets to be had.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm not a big fan of hiding your pricing.
No, I
Just post it.
find it such a turnoff. If I'm trying to book something wherever I'm looking and there's not a price, I call for price. I don't like that. No, thank you. That does not work for me.
And of course we understand their circumstances. Okay. If you need a consultation because you're doing extensions or something
yeah.
crazy, like I understand there's a process there and you don't have an exact
Right.
quote, but you can give them a roundabout. And then when they come in, you can narrow it down.
Or at least you're like, it's because it depends on these 3 things that we need to discuss when you come in.
Right. Explain that process quickly, or just don't and bring them in and then explain it, like you said.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a process when someone when your marketing works and you're getting those leads, you need a process.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting phone calls. What about walk-ins? What does that look like? You have people physically walking into your location. What's the process? How do you close that sale? Are you booking them?
We just started talking about this actually.
Yes, because we're having a little bit of overflow and
And walk-ins coming in. And how do we handle that in a consistent manner?
what about this? Is anyone following up with clients? And I'm talking about current clients, because who are your potential leads? So your leads are inquiries, and I call them potential customers. So those are leads.
Mm-hmm.
What about past clients? Those are leads. What about current clients?
Yeah.
Those are leads. So you have a current client. What's the easiest sale to make? Rebooking them.
Yep.
If you can take a person that's already your client and sell to them again, that's the easiest sale you can make.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, if you can get them to refer their friends because they're like them, even better.
There you go. So I think following up with clients is underrated. And we haven't talked about it yet, but I do think we should tackle it soon, because I don't think there's any reason that you can't be shooting people an email or a text saying, hey, how'd that hair work out for you? So if someone comes in and they're like, my hair always does this, and you say, okay, great, I'm going to try this and I'm pretty sure it's going to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you waiting 8 weeks, 12 weeks to find out if you fixed it?
Right.
Or are you texting them the next week? Hey, no, you said you had an event. How'd it go?
Mm-hmm. Or even, excuse me,
Yeah.
our system automatically, and correct me if I'm wrong, so I'm pretty sure it does this, but you operate this side. When a client checks out, they get to like a review that doesn't go anywhere public, but comes to us. So it's very easy for that client And we see it on both sides. Generally, they're really great reviews, but we have had some like, I wish my shampoo was better or something like that. And it's a great way for them to just give feedback, and it's immediate from their service. And we use that to talk to the staff, tell them good things, bad things, like whatever we need to. But it's not a step on our plate to do. It's automatically from our system that we use, which is really cool.
Yeah, so we have that set up, and that is a private thing. It doesn't post anywhere or go anywhere.
We
It's
just
just
use it
us
internally.
in-house. Yeah. But it's another way that we use a sales funnel.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on. Fourth system that I think that you need, and it's two-part. You need some sort of retention system. Again, this is sort of like marketing, sort of sales, and you need to look at your user experience. And I don't think that happens enough in this industry, and I'll tell you why. This industry, to me, no offense to everyone out there, but I hope I offend some people because that's what gets views. Look, you're not warming up to go sing a song. So why do I look around on Instagram and everything is me, 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 me?
Mm-hmm.
Stop. This is a service industry. Make it about the guest.
I have a hard time. I see a lot of those posts, and they're very passive aggressive towards your clients, and it's
awful.
just done in distaste. Yeah. I don't find that that's a platform where you should be yelling at your clients or getting mad at them or telling them how much they're stressing you out. Like that's a you problem, and you can still feel that, but I don't think it needs to be shared in a way that shames the client. It really bothers me.
It bugs me too. And here's why. You could have a system to deal with those people.
Correct.
And everyone, you claim to have a cancellation policy. But if it was working, you wouldn't be posting constantly about it. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
But so go ahead.
If any of the systems you were putting in place were working, you wouldn't come to that situation where you're having this burnout moment that you have to yell at everybody on social media.
Correct. So again, retention, what does that look like? I don't know. Like what happens during the first visit? Like for our salon, we think it's important that everyone gets a tour. Mm-hmm. Why? Because it's stressful walking into a new environment, especially a salon. Yeah. You're putting a lot of trust in people. If they can't even show you where the restroom is
right
before you sit, that's not a very pleasant experience.
Right.
I don't know where I am.
Mm-hmm.
I would feel more comfortable if I did know where I was.
Absolutely.
They're usually, I've seen in a salon, you're just ushered to your chair. Who are you here for? Mm-hmm. That's generally what happens. Maybe you're offered a beverage or whatever, but either way. Okay, so retention, what about something, and this is just a random note, but like you could send out a card for birthdays. Mm-hmm. That's easy enough information to collect. But my clients don't want me to know. I would never ask somebody's age. Get the freaking month, Sally.
Yeah.
Get the month and just send them a card on the first of the month. Hey, I know it's your birthday month. Happy celebration. Come see me.
Yep. You could automate that with email too. And our system alerts us when they're checking in or out. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, you had a birthday this month? And I just say happy birthday. I don't even have to go above and beyond if like mailing something out. Yeah. It's not an extra step for me, but our software tells us that. So I'm able to wish them a happy birthday in person if that's the birthday month they come in.
Dude, that was just an example. Birthday card is, you don't have to like go to the post office. You could do an email.
Again, though, there's those people out there we know statistically are more booking on paper than online or using an actual software. This is where the value of the software would come into play from your profit, because it can do a lot of the stuff automatically for you if you set it up. So it's not on you to do. So it's not another job. But yes, you would pay for that. But there's a reason to do that for a lot of these systems to make them easy and be a system consistently.
For sure. Not being negative, but I don't know if people booking on paper really care about systems.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know if that...
Or they do and they won't
or they
start.
might not know.
Maybe, yeah.
And again, I'm not knocking anyone.
This is what a software
If you book on paper,
do
good for you. Just stop booking on paper and make things easier for you and your clients. And then, so we touched on user experience, but what does it look like? What does it feel like? Mm-hmm. Invite someone in that's a friend maybe that's never been to your salon, or a family member, or somebody that you can trust. Invite in your aunt that you don't ever talk to, and you know her ass is going to be brutally honest with you.
Get the feedback.
Have her get a service when you're not there. Don't tell anyone you guys are related. Mm-hmm. Like, just, I'm not saying send in secret shoppers, but it was efficient. It works in the restaurant industry.
We also, like, another example, and we actually just coached someone that tried this. sit in your chair before your day starts. Like the chair you're going to work at, look around. What do you see? Is everything look good? And if you were a client sitting there, is that how you would feel the most comfortable and confident? Like, it's amazing when you sit at that level, the other things you see that you don't when you're standing up behind the chair.
Yeah, we just had that conversation with somebody that we mentor this past week. And yeah, she said she noticed some things that she immediately changed. But she was like, I never had
She
that
sat in the chair.
legit, that perspective.
Yep.
So it really helped.
Yeah.
There she goes. You just cleaned up your user experience. Now it's nicer.
Yeah.
And
Little effort.
And it took 5 minutes.
Right.
All right. So start to think about that. System number 5 on my completely arbitrary list of systems. You need to create some sort of value ladder. Now, this is for the owners of the business. Excuse me. The owners of the business need to ascend. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I'm just saying that there are certain tasks and roles that only the owner can complete. There are certain things and decisions that you will have to make in your business or consider that only you can do.
All right. Do tell.
So, cleaning. This is an easy one. Cleaning is not one of those things that the owner has to do. The owner's time is probably more served somewhere else. So if you can hire someone to clean or compensate someone on your team already for cleaning or whatever, that will free you up. Now, maybe it frees you up and you're like, I just want more time. Maybe you're profitable and you're like, I just want more time with my family. Great. Take some of the profit, reinvest it in your business. For now, it's going to be okay till we get to the next one. And then just look at what you can do with that time when you get there. So I think I tripped over my words there. If you want to focus the time on your family, focus the time on your family. If you want to focus on working in your or on your business rather, so that you can create other opportunities, do that.
The goal is to look at the tasks that need to be done. And as an owner, it doesn't always make sense to be doing them all when they can come off your plate and someone else can do it at a different cost or whatever. And like you're saying, free up your time to either be more present in your business, work on growing your business. Maybe you're going to focus on the marketing in your business. Like you can focus on things that only you as an owner really can do. You couldn't offload that to someone else.
Exactly. So like if you want a quick example, say you work 5 hours on marketing a week and you are doing like a podcast and a blog and doing some SEO stuff, right? 5 hours a week. And you're bringing in $5,000.
Like to the business of like it's the clients are coming in from that stuff. Exactly.
So now your time really is valued at $1,000 an hour. Anything less than $1,000 an hour. And I know that sounds like a huge number, but I know people in businesses that have much higher hourly rates than $1,000 an hour, much higher. And you can look at things that are lesser. So if you can pay somebody $20 or $25 an hour to clean and you're focused on bringing in $5,000, why would you not make that switch?
Right. It's time.
Why would you not do that?
And there's some stuff because this is what happens when we talk about stuff. I'll be like, but I like doing it. Doesn't mean you don't have to do it still from time to time. But the point is that your time is more valuable doing these other tasks that's going to make your business more profitable. And if you're truly the business owner running it like a business, you've got to start making some of those changes.
I have a little bit of a hypothesis here.
Okay.
Or a little thing that I estimate happens.
Let's hear it.
I think that a lot of times when we hear things like, but I like doing the cleaning, I like cutting the hair, it's because they don't know what to do next. Not because they truly are like, they just love mopping floors.
It is true.
I think it's because you feel like you need to be doing something, but you're not exactly sure what. So then you take everything. I think that's what is happening more often than not. I have no way of proving that. I'm just drawing from the experiences and the people that I talk to and watching you grow over the years. You used to do every single thing of everything.
And the unknown and what's next is very scary. So it's easier to just keep doing what you're doing and add more things on your plate.
Entrepreneurship is scary.
Yeah. You've got to grow and change for things to become successful and really to just be a better person.
All right, the last system that I have here, and then you can.
I thought you said you had 6 or 7. Are we on 6 or 7?
This is 6.
Oh, okay.
This is it. Sorry.
Oh, got it.
So you want to improve your return on investments. You want to increase your profits. You want to decrease your expenses. This sort of thing. So you're going to go through and you're going to sort of not break stuff in your business, but you're going to explore. So you've got these other systems up and running. Everything's working well. Where can you maximize? Where can you double down? That sort of thing. And this happens carefully and through like auditing your systems. What can we clean up? And then as a CEO or as the owner of your business or whatever you want to call yourself, you have to continue to drive the vision. You're in control of the ship.
Right.
Now you might have a team of employees. What are they? They're the wind. So they're pushing the ship. What are you?
Yes.
You're the captain and you have to steer where they're pushing. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So there's tons of ways to do that. And I don't want to keep going because I want to get into some fun stuff and some light stuff here. So before we do that, this episode is brought to you by our friends at Ping Pong Design and Marketing. If you want to love your website again, or you're looking for more clients to fill your business. Do I sound like one of those radio guys?
Yeah, a little bit.
Ping Pong is also offering our audience a special discount.
So cool.
So go to the show notes, reach out to Chris, and let him know that you need help with system number 2, which is marketing. I was just
going to say this would be very helpful for system number 2.
Yeah.
Do it.
All right. So now I want to talk about a little bit about what inspires and influences us as business owners. Like, where do we draw from? Do you want to start? You have anything or you want me to start?
No, go ahead.
All right. So I'm trying to default because my first one is kind of cheesy.
I can't wait to hear it.
It's my business partner and my wife, Jen.
Aw,
so a big part of why we work together, I don't even know. No, I'm just kidding. So I had a business before this one and I didn't want to run a business alone, but I didn't really want to, I explored business partners and bringing someone on. I didn't really want that either. So it clicked in my brain that I was like, okay, I can work with my wife. Now, the tricky part was you were in an entirely different industry, but it inspired me and influenced me to go to hair school. And some days I'm like, why'd I do that? And other days I'm like, this is fun. Yeah. Like, it's not the long-term thing right now to get into, but yeah, my inspiration comes from my wife.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
I'll give mine. I got
a list here.
I'll touch on that. I mean, obviously I had a partnership before and it went south and it was a horrible experience, but,
wow.
I think when it comes into a partnership or running a business, you need someone that can equally bring to the table, not the same shit you do, something different. So there's 2 sides to a business. So when I say mine last partnership was awful, we just didn't equally show up to run the business and it was not a very equal partnership. So, that was the part of it that didn't work for me. So obviously with partnering with Todd, I've said this in a previous podcast, the business I wanted to run and who I wanted to arrive as a business owner, I would not have been able to do on my own, or I don't feel with anyone else, just because of the dynamics of being married and knowing each other so well. And we know really how we can each push each other without it being a disaster. So for sure, that is a huge inspiration. I also love getting inspiration from other business owners, not even just in the salon world. Like, what are you doing? What's working for you? And just talking about business and things that went well and really what isn't going well. Because in my world, that reality of hearing the stuff that's not always going well is like, oh, this happens to other people. And that really is the inspiration to keep me going at certain points when things are not always going well.
Yeah, I have 2 that I'll just sort of bring up now, but I had other industries and other business owners, and I will read a lot about CEOs of big companies. And I know you don't always love it because I'll be like, well, the CEO of Target, and you're like, we're not Target. But I find it fascinating. I find it inspiring. And I try to look at the way they run these massive companies, and I try to boil it down, and it's impossible. And they could probably do it if they were here, but they're not because we're in our bedroom and that would be awkward. But if you could boil it down to like, where are they coming from? How are they seeing things? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like for example, how you treat your employees, like where does that stem from? Were you treated unwell? Do you just understand that if you treat people well? Because I say that all the time. If you treat people well, you're more likely to.
Yeah.
Will you get burned from time to time? Yes.
You will. Yep.
Yeah, this is a high turnover industry, right? Hair. So people are going to leave your business. People are going to try to screw you over, unfortunately, that sort of thing. But I'm trying to stay positive and just draw off of these people that they're not looking at the 2 or 3 people that quit.
Right.
And complained about something and went to the local news. They're looking at the 100,000, 10,000 employees that they have to consider and care for. So
I think it's very important to get influences outside of the business you're in. I think you can
other
get
industries. That's what else I was saying.
Yeah. I think you can walk around in a bubble if you're only inside yours, and the solution or the inspiration can come from outside of that. It's a tip that I wish I had realized years ago, because I felt like I only could look at the salon world, but I have learned so much from other businesses and really been able to view things differently and do things better because of looking outside of my bubble.
Agreed. The next one I had here is movies. So movies, and this could be shows as well. I just love to... The same thing I think about CEOs of these large companies. I look at the characters. I look at the emotions that they try to bring to the screen. I look at the storyline. I'm not just watching mindlessly. I'm sort of like dissecting. Now, there are certain things that I watch mindlessly and I love it. And I'm sure you have all your, show, whoever's listening has all their shows that they're like, I would never tell anyone that I watch these, but I love them. That's great. And if there's a movie or a show that involves some business in there, that's always solid too, because it's fun, because I can sort of not get into the character, but relate.
Yeah.
Like we watched Ozark and then I wanted to launder money. No, I'm just kidding.
Where are you going?
Don't do that. But you watch these shows and what drives these characters to make these decisions, right or wrong, good or bad. Sopranos.
Good one.
That is a good one. I'm not saying I want to form an organized crime ring. But I did for a little bit consider it. If there's any federal law
maybe you should have gone to
listening. Theater.
Yeah.
All right. So podcasts are another thing. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
That's a good one.
And here's the thing. Here's how I'm able, there are days where I might listen to 7, 8, 10 podcasts. Here's how I do it, because I don't have 8 hours to just sit there listening to shows. 1, speed that shit up. You can put it on 1.5 speed and listen to it in less time.
It's like how I talk in regular life.
That's probably why I can I think I can push it to 2. If you have a podcast where they particularly talk fast, put it on 1.2. But you can speed that process up. Here's the other thing I do. I don't consume entire episodes unless I think there's going to be value there. So I will go through spots or pieces or things that I think are interesting, kind of skim. Maybe I skip ahead a little bit. If something seems interesting, I'll rewind and then give it a listen. And that's just my way of listening to podcasts.
That's a good tip.
I could go on the bike and ride brainlessly, or not brainlessly, mindlessly, and listen to a whole bunch of shows. Some of the business podcasts that I listen to are 7 to 15 minutes long an episode. You put that on 2 times and you're talking about 3.5, 4 minutes, 5 minutes right there. That's not a long time. If you're on the bike for 30 to 60 minutes, you can get in a lot of episodes. What about books and blogs?
I was going to say books is a great
Yeah,
one.
books are great.
I also think, where you're just talking about the bike, so a source of I love music. So
All right.
Music is a really great source of inspiration for me, and usually more so in the sense of to calm my mind and then hopefully open it up to get inspired to come up with something new and innovative. But I do feel that for me, exercise with music really help to clear my head. And it's interesting because sometimes I just need to clear my head and that gets me ready for the day. But often it allows these new ideas to come in that may or may not ever take place, but where I feel very creative. It allows that sense for me to come through when I'm mixing great music with some bit of movement, and I can just like kind of, I don't know, just have an aha moment.
And what just popped in my head, I don't have it listed here in this list in my notes, but art. I like to sometimes look at art.
Yeah, that's like we have this black and white elephant on the wall that I'm sitting across from. That
you know why it's there? Because I picked it up because it fell behind that dresser.
But I love it, and I don't know what it is about the image of the elephant in this picture. It just really, yeah, it's amazing, and it's why it's sitting right in front of me. Wish you guys could see it, and it's a piece of art that, I don't know, it's inspiring to me when we do podcasts. So that's why
they can see it. I'll put it on Instagram.
Okay. It's a really cool picture.
Yeah, I think it just invokes power.
Yeah.
So again, books and blogs, getting back to that real quick, is I will consume those fast as well. So audiobooks, you can speed up the time on that. Blogs, I skim, save good ones. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm in the mood to sit down and really digest information, I go back and pull them up.
That's cool. Smart. And a good tip.
Because I can't just sit there and read all day long.
Right.
Right? There's other things that have to get done. But going back to art for a second, you can look at art and draw, like, so art should invoke some sort of emotion, right? Isn't that the point? So you don't have to mimic it. So if I look at a piece of art, I've been really into like AI generated art lately because I'm a tech geek and I like all that sort of stuff. So I'll look at some of these more abstract art pieces, and what do you get for an emotion out of it? I'm not trying to, and again, I'm not saying this is wrong if you do this, but if I look at a piece of art and I'm like, I like that, I want to go do hair that is that color. That's not what I'm trying to pull out of it, you know? If that's what you get out of it, great. I'm not looking at a piece of art and I'm like, this inspired this haircut from the shape. I mean, maybe that happens, but I don't look at a building and get a haircut out of it. I look at a building and I think, what does that building, the architecture, make me feel? And then I use that in my business wherever I might need to feel that. I might look at that art. Sometimes it's a quote, an old business,
I love quotes.
Yeah, quotes are cool.
I'm a good quote person.
Yeah. But it's just, it's taking the emotion and sort of storing it. So, and I know everyone in the world has done this one, right? You're having a day where you're feeling down. Mm-hmm. What do? You go listen to the song that lifts you up. Now, for some people, it's Adele, and you have to go darker and deeper.
Somehow that's me. I don't know why.
Some people,
and I'm a very happy person, but people are always like, you listen to the most depressing music. I'm like, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It makes me
watching others suffer makes me happy. No, but so it's, again, it's about that emotion. So if I'm having a down day, maybe I go listen to something that's upbeat, and it makes me, I like electronic music, so I don't even need words. I just need that beat, and it sort of carries me. Like, I notice myself bobbing my head, and then I notice that I maybe cracked a smile, and then your day sort of turns around. So it's just, you're finding inspiration from this music. I'm not saying I listened to Eminem, I'm going to go color everyone's hair blonde, because he had blonde hair once.
He did.
That's, a different sort of inspiration. Again, nothing wrong with that. Other things I find inspiration in or influence is beating myself. I think it's good to be competitive. I think it's better to compete with yourself.
I like that.
And
because, I mean, you're really up against yourself. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. And we see no
matter how you look at it.
Yeah. And we see the competition thing all the time in the hair industry, and it just comes from a scarcity mindset. But the fact is, you do have competition, you have competitors. So maybe you find influence through them. Now, I don't particularly, like, it's not for me. I don't scroll through very many other people's pages.
Same.
I don't watch other people's stories unless I know you.
Right.
And stuff like that. And I don't know why I said because I think the sentence was over.
Period.
I was just trying to add words like you do, Jen.
I'm not being so wordy today. I don't know why.
All right, a few other things and we can wrap, but employees, I've always been somebody that really enjoys building teams. I like working with people, helping them reach their goals. The more people you help reach their goals, the easier you'll reach yours.
Yeah.
That's just how that works. I definitely find challenges inspiring. I don't know if this is sort of the same thing as beating yourself, But I love taking on a good challenge, especially when I don't see an instant like way out.
That's great. I don't know if many people are like that.
Yeah. So
most people are instant gratification. So
well, generally what happens for me is I'll see if I have a problem or a challenge that comes up and it needs to be addressed and I go, oh, that's easy. I'll do this. Stop. We talk about pause sometimes. Don't pause. Stop. Stop and think. Give yourself a good 48 hours because maybe you're right, but you could be making more work for yourself by reacting like that and not looking through the options.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was just a fun one that I had here, but I definitely am influenced or inspired by watching the government and the moves that they make because that stuff trickles down and affects our businesses.
Mm-hmm.
We are small businesses, small business owners. If you're listening, you are why we have this country.
Yeah.
Everything is
Very
built.
important.
Everything is built from us. We're the backbone. We are the economy.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I see the government making certain moves like, bugging small businesses like hair salons and boards and all this stupid shit that really we don't need. And when I see the government hiring, and I don't care where your thoughts are on this or not, this is not a political show, but when I see them hiring all these IRS agents and everyone's like, finally, they're going after the rich. Look,
they're coming to get you small business.
They hired 87,000 people or some shit like that. There aren't 87,000 billionaires, are there? No.
Doubt it.
They're not going after them. They're coming after you. It shouldn't be that hard to see. So what does that do? It inspires me to make sure I reach out to Kurt and be like, hey, we're good, right? If we get audited, it makes sure that we have a solid lawyer who understands our business and we have a relationship with in case we get audited, all those things. Mm-hmm. Because that can crush a small business.
Yeah.
And it's
quickly.
Hey, that's the price of doing business. That's the risk, right?
Right.
And that's why you need to profit because you're taking that risk. If you're not on our mailing list, you should get on there. Other than that, I'm good. Jen, you have anything else to say?
I have one more.
Oh.
So I know you almost got away with it.
Hold on.
So I will say for me, a really other big piece that's influential or inspiring for me is education. And it's on two fronts. I get super inspired to educate other people, which I go into other people's salons, but I also do a lot in our business at Hello and just completed our first apprenticeship at Hello. And that makes me proud. It makes me feel good. And it invigorates me to help more people in this industry. And then on the other side, education for myself. I love if I can take a class with a really great educator. And I say that because it's the really great ones that get me so inspired to try something new and push out of my comfort zone and then go back to the salon and show our staff and do things with it. But education is really a big influencer for me and inspiration for even part of what we do at Hello. So now I'm done.
I love it. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Have a great day.
Reach out if you want to chat.
Please.
Talk soon.